The World Health Organization recently labeled gaming addiction as a disease, and as a gamer, I take really huge issue against this. I think that gaming has always been vilified, and this is just taking that view to a whole next level. Gaming has always been viewed as something that losers do, and if you do it more than like an hour a day, you're just wasting your life, and it's something you just shouldn't be doing. And I take issue with that. It's just so frustrating because I grew up with gaming. It's something that I love to do, and it's something I'm really passionate about. I'm never going to be an esports superstar, but on the flip side, that's okay. Just because I enjoy gaming, it's something that I like to do. It's a medium that I enjoy. Some people are really into movies, or really into TV, or really into books, and I honestly think that gaming is on that kind of level of art form. This just makes it way easier for people to say, oh, if you play games more than an hour or so a day, you're addicted. Why is gaming the next big thing to be rated as a disease by the World Health Organization? There's so many other things that could be going on. Social media is way worse for society than gaming has been, in my opinion. I mean, you go to any sort of restaurant, you can see couples both on their phone, and they just got to be somewhere else. They can't even be spending time with each other. They got to be on social media, or they got to take a picture of their food that they're eating because the time that they are having, it doesn't count. You can't have a good time unless it's on social media. Somebody else has to validate you having a good time now. Social media has put keeping up with the Joneses on steroids. I mean, it is to the whole next level. I know so many people who look at other people on their cell phones and they're like, oh, they have a better life than I do. Oh, they've got a better house, they got a better car, they go on vacations all the time. Why don't I do that? How come my life's not like that? Social media is where people put their best foot forward. You're comparing yourself with other people all the time. That sounds way worse than playing video games with your friends. Granted, gaming is starting to become more mainstream, it's a little bit more popularized and whatever else, but because kids play games and kids get really into it, it's, oh my gosh, this is an issue. Raise the red flag. Kids are playing too many video games. It's just like, really, really, get off your freaking high horse. Like, kids will do too much of anything you let them do. As a father of two kids, I'm already reading online how some parents don't want to let their kids play video games because they hear how addictive it is, and they're afraid that their kids are going to get addicted to gaming. Like, really? You're afraid your kids are going to get addicted to gaming? You have no idea what gaming is, or how much fun it could be, or how much learning could be taking place with gaming, how much hand-eye coordination is involved, and just how you're just puzzle solving the entire time. One of the main issues that I have with this whole situation is that it's very easy for somebody to be labeled as addicted to gaming. I think that the term being addicted to something is like a mental disorder. It's something that you can't help. It's physically, it's psychologically, like there is something going on. You have a mental disorder. All right, so this is directly from the World Health Organization website. It says that for gaming disorder to be diagnosed, the behavior pattern must be sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning, and would normally have been evident for at least 12 months. So if you've been a gamer for at least 12 months, and let's say you're in a relationship, and then one day your girlfriend or wife says, you know, I really don't like it how much you game, I wish you'd cut back, and now they've got an issue with you gaming too much, and in reality, maybe they just want more attention in general, whatever it is. As soon as somebody else sees an issue in you having gaming, you can be addicted. I wish that they had come out and gave stricter guidelines to what is gaming addiction. People just now hear, oh, gaming addiction's a thing. Oh, anybody who plays games for a set number of hours, they're addicted. There it is. I take issue with that. I think that that is unfair to gamers as a whole, because that's what's going to happen is people are going to read the headlines and they're going to lay everything out as a blanket statement. That's the way it goes. Like, I've been playing games ever since I was like 5 years old. Am I addicted to gaming, or am I just passionate about it? Like, I think that there's a big difference. I could understand if you don't have a job, if you're playing video games so much that you're racking up credit card debt, you're not showering, can't hold down a job because you're constantly trying to call off work so you can play another raid or something like that. Those are the kinds of things that I could see would lead to, or indicators of gaming addiction. But that's not what they're saying in here. And going a little bit further, I think that people who are playing video games to that extent, I don't even know that video games is the underlying cause or problems to their issues. More than likely, they're using video games as escapism to kind of get away from the issues that they have. Life can be hard. Finding a job can be hard. Dealing with the stress of your spouse or significant other can be hard. Is it easier to play a video game where everything's very linear and straightforward, where, oh, all you have to do is level up and fight the boss and whatever else? Yeah, that is awesome. It feels good. You know what to expect, unless you're playing an EA game and then it's just a bunch of loot boxes and who knows what's going to happen. Also on the World Health Organization website is that gaming addiction is characterized by impaired control over gaming, increased priority given to gaming over other activities to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other interests in daily activities. So the way that makes it sound like is that other interests, that could be surfing or reading or watching TV. I would much rather play video games than watch TV. Does that mean I'm addicted? Based on what it says here, it kind of makes it sound like it. Yeah, maybe I'm an addict. But I think what they're actually trying to say is by daily activities, they mean bathing yourself, brushing your teeth, eating. Like, if you can't do the basic activities at that point, then you can be diagnosed as addicted. If you're not showering for a week on end because you're trying to get an extra game in, you might have an issue. Should it be called gaming addiction? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. The idea that gaming takes precedence over other interests? Yeah, for me, gaming takes precedence over a lot of other interests. I like gaming. I'm really passionate about it, but does that make me addicted? I don't think so. That's not for me to decide. Apparently, it's up to my wife, because as soon as we get in a fight, boom, I can be addicted. I don't like the way that they are labeling this. So I'd like to know right now, down in the comments below, if you consider yourself a gamer in any way, shape, or form, would you be considered an addict right now, just based on the definition that we just read? What I'm trying to say is that I think that it's in the headlines because it's been something that's been happening with kids. But kids are crazy with whatever you give them. If you let a kid, like my 5-year-old daughter, watch TV for more than one episode, she will throw a fit if you try to take TV away from her. That's just the way kids are. Kids want to do what they want to do. If you tell a kid to come inside from like playing with their friends, they throw a fit. That's the way kids are, and now it just happens to be in the media that gaming is the bad guy. Oh my gosh, gaming are making our kids so bad. Scaring a lot of parents and up-and-coming parents, and that's where I take issue. They just really need to do the research on their own. I feel like gaming has its own like underground counterculture to it. You will never meet anybody at a party when you ask them, hey, what is it you like to do? What are your hobbies? Nobody's ever like, I'm a gamer. I'm really big into Fortnite. I play Fortnite like 3 hours a night. Or I'm really into Destiny. You know what? I do that raid 3 times a week on 3 different characters. Me and my friends, we bang that thing out in about like 2 hours a night. We got all the gear, head to toe, full light level. Like, that's not a thing. But you know what? Like, there's so many different things that people can be into where they spend so much time doing it, but that's cool. You know, you can talk to your friends and be like, oh, I just binged like 6 episodes of what's my show? What am I into? What's that HBO series that I'm into? Westworld, there it is. But you could tell your friends, oh, I just binge watched like 6 episodes of Westworld last night. Oh, it was great. And that's totally cool, because society is deemed as cool. But if you can't tell like somebody, oh, I just played 3 hours of Destiny last night or Call of Duty or whatever, like, it's not socially acceptable. I'm hoping that eventually gaming becomes more mainstream and it gets to the point where we can talk about gaming and we can introduce ourselves as a gamer if that's what you want to do, and it not be like, oh, you're a gamer, you're wasting your life, that's what you're doing. If somebody would say their hobby is stamp collecting, that would be more socially acceptable than saying that you're a gamer. There's nothing wrong with stamp collecting. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm just saying that why does gaming have to be looked down upon so much? That's my issue. I remember growing up as a kid and being told that gaming is going to turn your brain to mush, your eyeballs are going to fall out of your head, and all that bad stuff. I took my daughter out to go play Pokemon Go the other day. She couldn't throw a Pokeball to save her life. Like, she's throwing this thing like all over the place. It's just like, have I taught you nothing? I feel like gaming's good for a couple of things. Not just the hand-eye coordination. It's good for problem solving because then there's certain things that come along your way and you have to overcome certain obstacles. And also, another example of Pokemon, but just RPGs in general, is that you start off as usually a pretty weak character, and as you gain experience and over time, you're able to overcome the obstacles that are in your way. You might not be able to beat the first gym leader, the first boss, the first time you play through, but as you work and as you practice and as you get better, you're then able to go on and take out that final boss or whatever, and then you feel a sense of accomplishment. Yeah, it's in a video game, but that translates over to real life. I think that's a really good skill trait to teach your kids, that they can overcome obstacles, they can do it on their own, they can learn, they can get better, and they don't always have to have their hand held. So another reason why people were for labeling gaming addiction as a disease was that they were saying that gaming actually releases sex levels of dopamine in kids' heads. And at first glance, that sounds absolutely horrible. Like, what does that even really mean? Like, if gaming can release that amount of dopamine, what does going to Disneyland do? Like, whoa! Like, that's gotta be absolutely insane for a kid and, like, what that does to their mind. If that's the case, we shouldn't be letting our kids go to Disneyland, if that's really the argument here, that they shouldn't have that much dopamine. That much dopamine's bad. I think that people don't really understand, one, what dopamine is, and two, that just because you have a high level of dopamine release all at once, that it's like that's the worst thing in the world. So I'm gonna wrap this up before I start talking myself in circles. First off, I think it's way too easy to label somebody as addicted to gaming. Based on what the World Health Organization has laid out as a framework for gaming addiction, my second main issue with this is going back to just reading the headlines, is that parents are going to be reading these headlines and they're not really going to understand the whole gaming addiction or how many people actually play video games compared to how few people are completely addicted to them. I just want people to be a little bit more educated on this. Let me know down in the comments below, have you ever suffered with gaming addiction? Have you been labeled as an addict? I'm going to be replying to every single comment that comes in. I don't want to downplay it for anybody who does struggle with it, and if it's a real issue. This is just my opinions on it, and I'd really love to hear what you have to say about it. My name is Relia, and I hope to talk to you again more soon.